versus right, us versus them. While we pay to keep our politicians
I'll
fighting,
turn this off and
how
it
do
won't
we, the
happen.
people, rise up and solve the great
Thanks for
challenges
the
of our
reminder.
time. We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Hey, everybody, I'm here, Larry Sharp, on A Free Solution. I hope you guys had a good weekend and you missed me a little bit, but maybe you didn't. Remember, it's me, host of the Shortway Show, but today here on WYSL, Rochester, New York, WACK, Newark, New York. You can reach out to me if you like, 585-346-3000. Now, there is a little bit of a problem today. It's a little one, but it's a problem. How am I going to match last week? How am I going to do that? Last week, His Majesty, our soon-to-be former king, stepped down, like while I was talking. Isn't that amazing? So this morning, around 11 o'clock or so, my mayor, the local Duke, the local Baron of New York, he had a press conference. And I thought, oh my God, could lightning strike twice? Maybe I'm going to get him to step down too? No, that was too much for me to ask for. But it was kind of cool, right? I mean, that it did happen. Maybe I'll get another one in the coming weeks. But what did I want to talk about today? I know it can't be about our Lord and Savior stepping down, which is great. I just can't. I'm still excited that he's walking away. But I think it has to be the legacy that he's left and that I'm seeing now still moving in New York City where I live and across the state. I see that our Lieutenant Governor, soon-to-be Governor, Kathy Hochul, is in New York City talking to a bunch of city politicians, trying to find her Lieutenant Governor. Now, according to our rules, someone, I forgot who from the assembly, steps in immediately to become Lieutenant Governor until she picks one. So she's going to pick one. She's going to pick someone from New York City. That's not necessarily a bad thing. My worry is, does she pick someone who's a true believer, if you know what I mean? Someone like a de Blasio Jr. She's not going to pick de Blasio, but someone like that. That maybe, yeah, could be. So I'm concerned about something like that. Because what we notice is even though Cuomo is walking away, a lot of the things that he's put into place aren't leaving yet and may not be leaving at all. I was really hoping that, and maybe I'm wrong here, that our soon-to-be new governor would be a bit more Western New York, if you know what I mean. A bit more independent, a bit more libertarian. That was my hope, that there would be a streak of that in her. She used to be more pro-2A. She used to be much more independent than that years ago. I don't know if that's in her anymore, to be forward. I'm not hearing her fight back, but maybe she doesn't want to be, the bad guy yet because she's not the governor officially. But I'm hoping so. Because if you notice already, there are now, we'll go national, then state, then city. Nationally now, there's going to be a booster shot for those people who want to get the poke. Good for you if you want to. I'm not anti-poke. I am anti-mandate, but I'm not anti-poke at all. If you want to get the poke, please go ahead. There's going to be a third dose available nationally and encouraged and probably mandated at the federal level for employees or something at one point. That's my assumption here. Now, the problem with the third poke is not that I'm against the third poke. I have a concern. And the concern is that the vaccine companies were talking about the third dose the booster before anybody else was. They were chatting about it and saying how important it is and all that stuff right away. That's a concern. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Doesn't mean it's bad. It does mean that we should be talking about this. This is a concern. And why? Well, Larry, all the people rushing to hospitals and all. Yeah, that's a thing. I'm with you. I'm not like I don't see that. Of course I see that. But let's now move to the statewide issue. Now, statewide, we're looking at health workers and state workers, all state workers and health workers mandate vaccine by September. They get the poke by September. And again, the worry is, hey, look at all these people going into hospitals. But here's the thing that doesn't seem to make sense, or maybe no one's getting it. Right now, there is literally a nursing shortage. There is a healthcare worker shortage. And as local hospitals and healthcare facilities have put in these mandates, literally people are quitting their jobs. They're walking away. That's actually happening now. If you're in that field, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen it. You've heard about it. You might be one of those people. They're actually walking away, which creates more of a need. So they create it, the need. But here comes the next piece. If you're in the medical field, why do you not want to get a poke? That also is a little bit odd, isn't it? So I've asked some people this. I've said, why? I know a couple people here in New York City who don't want to get vaccinated. They don't want the poke, and they're in the medical field. And I asked them why. And they say, I don't need it. I already got it. I've got the, antibodies, blah, blah. Now, to be forward, I don't know the details of this. I don't. So this is not my opinion on whether it's right or wrong. That isn't my opinion either way. I'm not stating that in any way, shape, or form. What I'm stating is we are creating a worse problem, because here's the next piece that goes on top of that. In New York City, we're averaging about 140 people who are coming into the hospital per day who have presumed COVID. And when they test them, only about a third show up as actually having COVID. So you might say, well, that's good, Larry, isn't it? It is. Most of the people who think they have COVID don't. That's awesome. I do love that. That's very good. Here's the problem. Non-COVID people are flooding the hospitals now. That's a problem for many reasons. One, they probably should be off doing something else and not I am back, guys. I apologize. And there we go. So the people that are coming into the hospitals, a bunch of them, maybe 2/3, are actually don't have COVID. So if they don't have COVID, and now we have a bunch of nurses and other medical personnel who are trying to figure out, let me focus on the COVID people, but now there aren't enough of us, the non-COVID people. Are people without COVID now being hurt? Are they not getting serviced? Are we actually hurting people who don't have COVID? They might say, Larry, does it really matter? COVID is the critical thing. And if you have COVID, particularly Delta, particularly if you are elderly, yeah, that's right. But think about this. For the last year and a half, people have not been doing their regular health maintenance. They haven't been doing the checkups and the screenings and such because they couldn't, because everybody was going for COVID. This changes everything. So now I have people who are coming into hospitals who don't have COVID, who think they do, who haven't been doing their screenings, and now we're creating an environment to where there aren't enough medical personnel to deal with them. This is a problem that I don't hear people talking about. Have I missed it? Are there so many talking about it? I'm the oddball and I missed it somehow? I don't think so. This is going to be a state problem. So there are a couple of possible answers, a couple of possible free solutions. Name of the show. One of them would be simply being transparent on who got the shot and who didn't. That's option one. You could do that. That's a little bit dangerous for those people who are in a bad spot, right? Who are susceptible. I get it, but at least you will know and you can choose. I don't want to go there. I want to go here. It's possible. That's one option. There's another option, though. If the people who have medical personnel are concerned about the vaccine and care more about antibodies, can't we do antibody tests instead? Can't you either show the vaccine card or that you have the antibodies or something like that? Isn't that an option also for those people who really do need or do care about that? I think it's a viable option. Why not? But we can't. There are other answers we could do, but we're not doing it. If you notice, almost always my ideas, my concepts are more choice, more options, more transparency. The current system doesn't do that, hasn't for years, and I don't feel like it's going to. It is our way, that's it, mandate or no job. Doesn't seem fair to me. Doesn't seem right to me. Doesn't seem to make sense to me. Do all of these medical personnel, all these healthcare personnel, are all of those people just totally crazy and wrong? I mean, maybe it's possible, but doesn't it seem insanely unlikely that so many of them are saying what actually matters is not the poke, but the antibodies? I don't know. You tell me. It seems like this is reasonable, that someone should be thinking that way. So let me move to the next step. New York City, my city, my communist state. We now, not only do we have, of course, our health workers who have to get vaccinated or tested, I think it's twice a month or once a week, or I think it's once a week. And weekly tests. Now, if you want to go out into anything internal, meaning inside, indoor activities, you want to, go to a restaurant, you want to go to a gym, you want to do anything like that, you have to be vaccinated. Now, what if you get a fake vax card? Up to 7 years in prison. Yeah. Not that you should have a fake vax card. You shouldn't. It's a bad thing. But think about that. Up to 7 years in prison. And our mayor, Baron de Blasio, literally announced it. Happily. 7 years in prison. I get it. But wow. Oh my God. Wow. The other issue I want to think about here is, what if you can't get it? Do you get an exception? Or do you can't go indoors? You can't go to the gym. You can't go to a concert indoors. You can't go to a restaurant. You can't do these things. Wow. Maybe I'm off on this, but I don't see any of it changing. And I guess the part that bothers me is, more than anything, I'll go back to the medical personnel. You're a healthcare professional and you're not getting the poke. Okay. That's kind of weird. But now in New York City, you know that people of color in general have less chance of getting the vaccine. So now you're not getting it and you don't want a mask. And so you're not going out. Why are all these people choosing this? And you might go, well, Larry, the vaccine's bad. Or, Larry, these people are crazy, or whatever is your side of this. But the most important piece here is, if people are that either unhappy or that untrusting, that's the problem. Whether the poke is a good thing or a bad thing or whatever it is, people are that untrusting. Healthcare personnel are that untrusting. The average person is that untrusting. That's the problem. And if you use force and say you will do it, you must do it, have you convinced the person? So now what happens when the booster comes up in a year from now, or whenever it comes up? Or what happens when the next crisis comes up? Do they still not believe it? Do they still not trust you? Are you forcing them all over again? I don't get this. That's my issue. We're not focusing on the bigger issue, which is we have a bunch of people who don't trust our authority as a government. That's the bigger issue, because there will be other issues that pop up in our future. They don't trust our pharmaceutical companies. That's a problem. And no one's talking about that. They're talking about, well, the poke is good, the poke is bad. You're dumb, you're smart. I don't care if let's say they're right. The people who think the anti-vaxxers are right and all these people are dumb. Okay, great. If that's true, they're still Americans and they still feel and think certain ways, and we should still care about them and love them and try to bring them into the fold, right? Yeah. What about the opposite is true? All these eggheads up there in the ivory tower, they're all wrong and dumb too. They're all bad. They're still Americans. We got to fix the system, don't we? Either way, whether either side is completely correct or neither, We have to fix the system, trust, and caring about each other. What keeps driving me crazy, and you hear me talk about this all the time, is that every single issue that pops up in our nation today is immediately politicized, and trust is based upon what side you're on. That's the wrong reason to trust someone or something, because of the political side you're on. It's literally 1984. Does 2 + 2 = 5? Only if the party says it does. 2 + 2 = whatever the party says it does. That's where we're going. So if you're a Republican and Republicans say 2 + 2 is 5, then clearly it's 5. If you're a Democrat and Democrats say 2 + 2 is 6, then it's 6. But wait a minute, it's 4. No, it isn't. And if you don't say it's the one I say, you're my enemy. It's math. 2 + 2 is 4. I don't care. Democrat, Republican. And now it's life or death. So now let me walk to the next place. I know I'm walking down tons of them. I'm going to walk down one more. And I promise I'll take your calls and I will take your comments in a minute. But I want to walk down one more. And that is all the money we're spending, all the time and energy we're spending by our government. While I'm bothered that our healthcare professionals are being stressed yet again, they've been stressed for a year and a half. Now they're getting stressed again because people are leaving, getting burned out and saying, I'm not doing this. And people are coming and flooding to the hospitals who think they have COVID, who don't because of hysteria. Everyone thinks they have COVID. So they come in, it's assumed COVID. It gets checked as a hospital check-in, and literally a third of them have it. The 2/3 don't. So even now that's happening. But now we're spending more cash, more resources, and this is for New York City specifically, over $10 million on an ad campaign, and we still have mobile vaccination sites, over 100 of them, running around New York City. Who's paying for that? I tell you who. I am. Yeah. Yes. And if you live in New York City, I mean, you're paying for it, but if you're in New York State, you're probably still paying for it because it's probably coming out of the general fund. So you're probably paying for that too, even if you don't live in New York City, but you live in New York State. Someone's paying for it. And there are now 600 people, individual people, employees now, walking around, going to places and saying, hey, you have to enforce the vaccine mandate with your vax cards and the passports. You have to do that. They're walking around doing that. And hey, there's a mobile site popping up. Do that. And now de Blasio just had this. I'm sorry, Baron de Blasio just had this morning, is that they're paying people $100 to get the vaccine. So you got a family of 6, $600. I'm not joking. They'll come to your house, give you cash and 6 pokes. Not that I'm against getting a poke again, but now we're paying $600. So what was the incentive? What was the reward for the people who went and got the poke right away? I guess they're safer, I guess, but they're still wearing masks. They still can't go places, and they didn't get the cash. What are we training people to do? I mean, it's a problem. It really is. We can fix it, though. I know we can. Guys, Larry Sharp, a free solution, WYSL, 585-346-3000. Back with your calls and your comments after the break. Thank you, sir.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Buying a car has never been easier at Ralph Honda. With our online shopper, find the car that's right for you, right from your home. Visit us online to value your trade-in, personalize a payment that fits your budget, chat with a team member, and schedule your pickup. It's that simple. For 3 generations, Ralph Honda.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten-Free Bakery in Avon.
A free solution.
Yes, Larry Sharp, back yet again here on A Free Solution. Also host of the Sharp Way Show. So you can check me out most evenings, 7 p.m. Eastern if you want to. I'm on all the internet things, all the interweb stuff. But also this show is on noon every day. And you can follow this show on A Free Solution on Facebook and YouTube if you want to. And you can see other cool people on here too. Kevin Wilson's on here. Thursdays, you got the awesome, super cool Tim O'Connor. Come on, you can't beat that. WYSL, Rochester, New York. WACK, Newark, the cool Newark, New York. 585-346-3000. Let me grab a call if I could. I have Steve from Rochester. How are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing, Larry?
I'm doing good. What's going on your mind, my friend?
Well, I'm kind of listening off and on here, but it seems like, and maybe I'm wrong here, but like you're kind of siding or saying that all healthcare workers should get vaccinated. And
no, I'm not saying that at all.
Because...
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you brought that up. No, what I was saying is 2 things. Number one, why can't you not only worry about people who've got the shot, but also those who have some form of natural immunity like antibodies, right? Both of those. Why can't you use both in those areas? And the second thing is a question and a problem. Why are so many healthcare workers not getting the poke? What's going on there? And why they're not trusted. That's what I'm saying. Thank you for bringing this up, Steve. Keep going.
All right, yeah, because it's upsetting to me. Like I have a family member who works in the health field, and now they have to make a choice between losing their job or getting a shot they don't want to take. And I find it completely wrong to a free society.
I'm with you, and I have a question. Right, the society that we're in. Shouldn't we as a group of people, shouldn't we as leaders, shouldn't we be going to your family member and saying, Okay, why? Why are so many? Because your family member is not alone. There are many healthcare workers who are saying, I don't want this. Why are they? What's the issue? And that's what I'm not hearing.
Right, because they changed the story. They changed the story
Yes.
100 times. And wait a minute, you can get a shot, but you still have to wear a mask. The masks work, but I guess they don't work because if you're a mask and I'm not, you're not protected. Not anything to me that you have to be guilted, paid, or forced into. There's something wrong.
And that's exactly my point. I'm glad you brought this up, because if you thought that, I bet others did too. Let me be clearer in how I was speaking. I wasn't saying the poke is good or bad. I actually don't know. I'm not anti-poke. I'm, to your point, Steve, I'm anti-mandate. And my issue is healthcare workers should, and this is a should word, should be like, yes, everybody get the poke because we're healthcare workers and we support our industry and it's the right thing. But if they're not, that's a bigger problem, because while this happens now, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, there's going to be another medical emergency. And are we up at a point to where we don't trust our medical professionals? That's a problem.
Yeah, and it's exactly it. It's a matter of trust. There's too many different stories, too different things. And like you say, there's so many healthcare workers. I mean, they're protesting it strong.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're protesting. Why? They've survived this whole time unvaccinated, doing the PPE stuff. So what's changed to force them now to lose their position? And here's the other thing I want to ask you, Larry, because you're involved in politics. Mandate's not law.
Yes.
Correct?
There was they went through a parliamentary system to where it kind of was. And let me explain why we did that. When they gave His Majesty, our soon-to-be former governor, his special powers, what the law said is that he could make a mandate that would not be a law as long as the assembly didn't, that would not be a law for 30 days, because it would give the assembly a chance to say no. If the assembly didn't say no, then it became a law. And that was very specific to that. Okay. You're right. Usually mandates aren't laws, but our former king, he was very savvy. He made sure the rules said that if they don't stop within 30 days, it becomes the law. And that's a very special case.
Stop this. So they
Say
can still stop this. They can still
that's
stop
correct.
this mandate.
That's correct.
The assembly could. They do, brother. I pray to God they do.
We'll see.
So,
thank you, Steve, for the call. I appreciate it, brother.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one. So, yeah, I think I'm glad people are understanding what I'm saying now. I'm glad Steve called in, because that means other people thought the same thing. I was trying to say we have a bigger problem, right? And is it healthy to not trust government? Yeah. I'm a libertarian, clearly. Yeah. Is it healthy to not trust all of our institutions? No, that's not healthy. That means we got a problem, right? We as a society have a problem if we're not trusting all of our institutions. Now, can you question some of them or individuals? That's healthy. You should. Should you question government? It's healthy. You should. Should we as a society not trust any authority within, experts within our culture? That's not healthy. That means we got a problem, and we should have more trust in them, right? Everything from hospitals to cops to doctors to lawyers to government. We should, again, keyword, should have more. And I think in many cases we don't. That's a bigger problem. Ed says the other thing, gyms will be the first ones losing businesses because of the mandates, and it will lead to problems like obesity, which is the main point that I've said before. Ed, your comment in the chat is right on the money. Why in the world would we want to be stopping people from working out? One of the biggest issues, as issues that you have if you're going to die or have a bad reaction to COVID, is being obese. Age is the number one. After that, it's being severely overweight. Yeah, I'm with you. But not just that. Just your mental health. Anyone who is in the health field at all knows that for many people, not everybody, but for the vast majority of people, exercise helps you not just physically, but also mentally too. It helps your psyche. It helps you in many different ways. It's good. And when you have to be locked up because of the COVID lockdowns, getting out in the gym and running around a bit might help you out more than anything else you could possibly do. I'm totally with you. Yes. Benjamin says they'll never test for antibodies. The numbers would show how many have it and have not been affected by it. Ben, I think this is a valid criticism. Very valid. Why aren't we doing that? Now, there was one person who actually did that, and that was, believe it or not, a libertarian in Southern California. His name is Jeff Hewitt. He's a town supervisor in Riverside, and he actually had it, and he found that it was actually very low. It was like 3% or something like that. I forgot what it was. You can check his, those of you care, use Google Jeff Hewitt. And I did an interview with him on my Sharp Boy show, and he explained it. If you care about that, he talked about doing exactly that, Benjamin, locally, and it drove people crazy. But he did it because he was worried, like you were. How bad? Who is it? What's happening? And I feel like we're just rushing to do as I say. And to Steve's point, people aren't trusting. They just aren't. Dustin says, exactly. I'm not sure. I think he's talking about me. And if the treatment just protects you, there is no need to worry about other people vaccinated or unvaccinated status, especially since breakthrough cases can transmit just as easily. I'm not sure where you're going with that, Justin, but I think there are two reasons why people are concerned about others getting vaccinated. One of the reasons is I care about you and I know better than you. And that's not a great reason, but that's a reason. I know better than you, Dustin, and you need to do as I say because I control your life. That is one reason. That's the completely bogus reason, but it is a reason. It's the second reason that the more people who are out there who are getting it, the more chance the disease can mutate and create other variants. That's a more reasonable reason, right? That's more reasonable. But even if that is more reasonable, and I get that at least, that one to me at least makes sense. Like I get that. I can walk my brain down that road. Even with that one, I still want to think long term. And I want instead people like you or anyone else, or like Steve or Steve's family member, to decide that, yeah, that's right. Let me do that. And the problem is, if that was the actual reason, that should have been stated early on. But it wasn't. What was stated was mandates, do as I say. If you don't believe in the vaccine, you're stupid. You don't deserve to have a job. You don't deserve to have anything. So why would I hear the other reason, which actually makes more sense, which might actually get someone to go, oh, yeah, someone might do that. It goes back to what you hear me say again and again and again. Force in the long run doesn't work. It fails. It works in the short run. Here's my gun. Do as I say, and you do it. But eventually, my arm gets tired, and I got to put my gun down. Now we got a problem. All right. So long term, it's always a problem. Short term, yeah, you get what you want, but it gets worse in the long run. Andrea says, I don't trust the government or Big Pharma. Me either. Me either. And even if you don't, Andrea, shouldn't you trust the medical community? I know we don't, but I'll go back to the should. Not trusting the government, not a bad idea. Being skeptical of massive monopolies, not a bad idea. Being skeptical of our medical community, now we got a problem. Bigger issue. Can we fix it? I think we can. Larry Sharp, WYSL in Rochester, New York, 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution, or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, "He is my refuge and my fortress, for he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease."
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Larry Sharp back here on A Free Solution. Also host of the Sharp Way Show. Check me out on all the internet things. But here with you, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WACK, Newark, the cool Newark, New York. I'm so glad you give me a small chunk of your afternoon. I have been going through a bunch of your comments. You guys are just hitting it. I appreciate it so much, the amount of comments you guys are putting up here. It's great stuff, great back and forth. I love it tremendously. Yes. So let me grab a couple more if I can. Christine says, if you require booster shots, it's not a vaccine. It's a therapeutic treatment. Ooh, interesting, Christine. I like how you think. I think you're right? If you've got to keep getting booster shots, then it's a therapeutic treatment. Oh, Christine, you've just made me scared. You remember, some of you may remember this. Chris Rock did a comedy routine. It's got to be 10, 15 years ago. I don't remember. Maybe more. I don't remember. And he was talking about how pharmaceutical companies don't cure anything. They were like, and it's a comedy bit. He's like, well, they don't cure anything. He goes, because the money's not in the cure, the money's in the treatment, right? To your point, the money's not, I don't want a pill to cure AIDS. I want to have a daily pill so you can live with AIDS, because then you have to keep buying the pill. And he was joking. He was like, when he said this, he's like, oh, my AIDS acting up today. He was doing that kind of that joke in his bit. But now if you watch commercials, people literally say things like, I live with my HIV and it's just a once daily pill. What he said actually happened. So, Christine, are you saying we're all going to have to get monthly shots so we never get COVID? Or maybe it becomes a pill eventually? Weekly pill? Oh my God, I hope you're wrong. I really hope you're wrong. But you've just made me think that this could be even worse. Are we all going to be on therapeutics for the rest of our lives? Get your shot every month. If you don't get your shot, you can't go to school or whatever. God, I hope you're wrong. But Chrissy, you're paying attention. Yes. All right, let me keep going down here if I can. Let's see. Justin says, the reference to 1984 comment, we are living in the days of the thought police. Yes, absolutely true. You have to be loyal, right? You have to be loyal. Absolutely. Ken says, Larry, why aren't antibodies or natural immunity part of the narrative? This is my point too, and this is what I was talking with Steve about. I know it sounds like I'm saying you have to do the one thing or the other. I don't think you do. I think you should be transparent with where you are. You should either have the shot or the antibodies or some form of natural immunity. I'm happy with any of those things. And you can absolutely, you can get a test. They do exist, right? They exist. Brooklyn, New York says the best way to prepare for the Delta variant is remove all artificial barriers that get in the way of efficient allocation of health resources. Yeah. Thank you. Let people get the help they need, the help they want. Here's the part that will sound crazy. I know some of you say this, but Larry, what if people don't want to get help? What should we do if they don't want to get help? The reality of it is you own your life. And that is really hard for some people to grasp. But I said earlier that the arguments about, well, you should get the shot because I say so, that's not a good argument in my view. I understand that it is an argument. It's a bogus one. But the other argument of, well, then this could mutate. If we have that kind of conversation, and we didn't, a lot of people might have decided that they wanted to get it because they would have realized, oh, it's about something else. And now they choose to, and now they rush and get it. Nicholas says, I understand that masks do not protect against breathing in the tiny virus. However, I'm a retired EMT, 25 years as a volunteer, and I was taught that the mask will also keep you from touching your mouth with infected hands. Ooh, that's good. That's how most infectious diseases enter the body, hand to mouth. Now, I'll say it again. Nicholas, thank you for this. Why didn't we discuss this when it came to masks? Imagine if we had said, look, the masks may not work well, but they're a good way of stopping you from putting your hands in your mouth. And that's the reason. Well, at least, again, I still wouldn't want to mandate, but at least now that makes sense. That's an argument I can wrap my head around. Let's have a conversation on that. Let's discuss that. Hey, I think is the N95 masks are the respirators that actually stop the virus. Is that right? I think that's correct. But the cloth masks aren't very good with this. However, if they stop from touching your hand, your hands touching your mouth, that might help. I love this. That's a logical reason. Imagine if we didn't immediately decide to politicize masks and start to mandate masks, but instead people like Nicholas said, can we have a conversation about masks? Let's talk about it. And let me tell you why I'm going to put my mask on and why I think you should put your mask on. And what I would say is things would change tremendously. And even if people decided to not put a mask on, they wouldn't be so angry and so insulted. They'd be like, I'm going to touch my mouth and with my hands and whatever. And then people go, wow, okay, you got the COVID. Why? Because you put your hands in your mouth, guy. Put the mask on. Don't touch your mouth. A whole different conversation. An entirely different conversation. And the part that I brought up when I first discussed this, what I wanted to use the entire COVID problem to do when it first came out a year and a half ago was to get more Americans to start thinking about being healthier and being cleaner. I was talking about things like making it easier to make masks and hand sanitizers. Because even if the mask wouldn't have helped or would have helped, the idea that you're thinking about it, to your point, Nicholas, don't touch my mouth with my hand. sanitize my hands more, wash my hands more, all those things. That's just smart, good stuff for more healthy people. And it shouldn't be a mandate, but there's nothing wrong with us talking about it. I think it's amazing we talk about it. Ed's talking about going to the gym. Let's talk about it. More people going to the gym, the better. More people working out, the better. More people being cleaner, the better. Nothing wrong with this. But we didn't do that. We fought. We yelled. And now people are not only dying now, but we're fighting now. We're more divided now. And when the next big problem happens, are we going to be able to unite to fix it? And
1 minute.
At one point, there's not going to be an option of being divided. There's going to be a problem that requires us to be united, and we're not going to be able to. Thomas says, per advice from my doctor, I got the Pfizer shot. Generally, I'm pro-vaccine. However, if someone doesn't want to get the shot, that's okay with me. My body, your choice. Your body, your choice. I like that idea. That's pretty good. Yes. Doug says, with the mask, I'm putting my hands near my mouth more often, not less often. Hopefully not touching it inside, Doug. I hope not. I hope Nicholas is right. But now that you heard it, you can think differently. Mask or no mask, you probably shouldn't put your hands in your mouth. Just saying. I think Nicholas is right. And not putting your hands in your mouth is a free solution. That's the show. Guys, thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all next week.